Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Prim and Proper Sports. I'm your host, Sonja. It's Wednesday, guys, February 25th. So, with that being said, you know that means we are almost out of this month. We have just a few precious days left of my fantabulous birthday month. Thank you guys so much for the likes and all of the birthday wishes that you guys have shared with me throughout this entire month. Let me get some stuff set up here. Thank you for joining us. Please share. What's up, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and all the other folks in between. I am going to be doing an abbreviated show tonight because y'all know this is the lull. We got the combine coming. We'll talk a little bit about that. Of course, there's some NBA news. I want to shout out to Pink Fanfur and B Strilla, the production team behind. Pink is always the person that does my reels, and of course, B all of my music. So everything, and then we'll be all set. But how's everyone doing? Just come in, say what's up. Let me know you're on with me tonight. And we are live. Now, I'm going to be having some guests come up here shortly in the next couple of weeks. I'm super excited. March is going to be a very busy month for us here at the network. And so I'm looking forward to all of that. Let me see. Got what's up to Paul? Hello. Thank you so much, Paul, for always joining me now since you're subscribing to the YouTube platform. Thank you. So everybody, let's get started. Now, right now, we got some NBA news we're going to start off with tonight. Got the Celtics and Nuggets game coming up at 10 p.m. tonight. All Celtics fans going to be looking forward to that one, of course. Cavs and Bucks game is at halftime right now, 63-60, very close game. Cavs with the Bucks trailing by point. Warriors and Grizzlies. There is a 6-point difference right now with that game. And first Raptors is tied at 67. All right, so here we go, guys. Before we go any further, there's been quite a few people in the NFL, at least a couple that we all know of as of late, that have unalived themselves because of stress, things like that, things that are beneath the surface that we're not aware of. And so let me go ahead and put my public service announcement out there right now. If you are struggling with mental health and you don't have anybody to talk to about that, please ensure that you find someone. I know that people were saying even calling the suicide prevention hotline was not advantageous because people were being put on hold. I'm not sure what that's about, but make sure that you find someone. We all have these lulls in our days that we are not doing the best. People just handle stress differently. Unfortunately, there was also a rapper out of Jacksonville, Florida, that unalived himself here in Atlanta a few days ago. It's just shocking. But then when you look back, everyone always comes out and says, well, the signs were there. So I'm just saying, if the signs were actually there, if you see the signs, check in, make sure that your people are okay before it is too late. So let me at least put that out there. Combine coming up here, of course. The big talk is the quarterback talk that is coming up. Combine starting on tomorrow from Indianapolis. If you guys got a dog to fight, all 32 teams are participating in the combine. Over 300 prospects right now. For those teams who are still seeking quarterbacks, Rondo is definitely your top candidate to go. And people are actually excited about the combine. It's a little competition, 2 drafts. And so now the draft here now about probably like 6 weeks away. The combine is show you that nobody right now has been basically told that they're not participating, which is a good thing, because what you don't want to have is a combine where people are sitting out and you don't get a chance to look at the talent you need. So let's look at some of these people that are participating. Give me 1 second. That are participating in the combine that are predicted to do extremely well. And of course, I've already mentioned Sonja. He is the big difference maker here for the combine coming up here just the next few days. Let's see. I'm just wondering, you guys weigh in for me. What team do you guys think will draft him? Because I'll be honest, the teams that needed quarterbacks last year looks like they found their quarterbacks or they're going to stick with them. And so that's going to be interesting to see how that goes down. What's up to the McGrath Podcast Network? So Fernando's not participating. Okay, so I guess if you already predicted to go number one, you have that option. Mendoza is not participating. Thanks for that comment there, B. All right, so everybody's looking for the showmanship of the defensive linemen, the linebackers. Those guys will be starting at 3 p.m. tomorrow. And on Friday, there will be a display and showcase of the defensive backs and tight ends at 3 p.m. as well. And then on Saturday, there's another display of talent from the quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs. All of your offensive people and a little bit of defense too at 1 p.m. on Saturday. And then on Sunday, kicking off the month of March at 1 p.m., it will be your offensive linemen. Now, Fernando Mendoza, who we just found out, well, at least I just found out, is not participating. The Indiana quarterback basically being at home with the combine being there, and Ty Simpson out of Alabama are the consensus for the top two drafts. I'm getting a little bit of revisionist history here with the whole Bryce Young and CJ Stroud narrative from a couple of seasons ago. Actually, now, guys, this is the third season. Can y'all believe 3 seasons have gone by since both quarterbacks entered the draft? But anyway, those guys are considered to be going at the top two positions. Garrett Nussmeier out of LSU is under the microscope this week as he tries to reclaim his first round grade. So that usually gives me some indication that there may be some slippage there. But we'll talk about that in just a little bit. The defensive stars are Reuben Bain Jr. out of Miami and David Bailey out of Texas Tech. Those are the premier edge rushers that are at the combine. And now Bain has already made a lot of waves, guys. He's already made waves because of interviews he's had mentioning that he models his game after Max Crosby. Speaking of Max, coming back to the Raiders, he has said he wants to play. He's tired of being asked about whether or not he's playing or whether he's unhappy, what have you. Max said he's coming back. So there was a little tension. I noticed it. A lot of fans noticed it, but it looks like they may be working it all out. We shall see. So if he's modeling his game after Max Crosby, no other greater position for edge rusher to model the game itself after Max Crosby. All right, there's some speed threats. Make sure you guys look at Casey Concepcion out of Texas A&M and Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame. Saturday's 40-yard dash is where you're going to get a chance to see those displays of talent on deck. And so both of these guys are expected to be elite. So they're expected to post elite times, like maybe breaking some combine records. I digress. The combine is much about veteran movement on a lot of teams. So that's why all 32 teams are participating. It's about rookies. And what's being whispered basically behind the scenes are Malik Willis' massive payday. Let's look at that. After a breakout stint in Green Bay, backup to Malik Willis is the belle of the ball for the agency, so to speak. And reports are suggesting he could command $30 million this next season, guys, as a projected starter elsewhere. So we'll see about that. And Paul says, Love is awesome. Absolutely. Thank you so much for calling in. Now, McGrath Pro said the quarterbacks of the draft, maybe with the exception of Mendoza, aren't very good, but one of these NFL teams will be desperate enough to grab them. You know, let me comment right there, because that's a good time for me to talk about the New York Giants, the Tennessee Titans. Those guys supposedly got their quarterbacks last year, and neither one of them did diddly squat. Now, New York is banking on the coaching change. They're banking 1,000% on Harbaugh coming there and being a difference maker for their organization. So even though they still basically, as they say, crap the bed last season, they're still going to be looking for some talent. You can't tell me that you're just going to bank on that one quarterback. Yes, they're a rookie, but you're always still looking. It's like window shopping. It's like, Y'all know, well, some of us know, like when you were kids and you get the Christmas wish book, the Sears catalog or J.C. Penney or what have you. I know I spent hours as a kid going through the book, circling stuff that I wanted, knowing there was a large chance I was not going to get it. Same thing with clothes. I would look through clothing magazines and it was just something to do to pass time. Those were the days like that and go outside and play. We had video games, but those were only played certain times of day. But anyway, and we didn't personally have them. Our friends did, or our cousins did. So that was a little bit of positioning there. But anyway, Max Crosby, I talked about him a little bit earlier. Rumors are flying that the Raiders might actually listen to offers for their star edge rusher. Even though he said, hey guys, I'm going to come back, there's rumors that they may be willing to shop him. I mean, y'all, at the end of the day, money talks and you know what walks. So I just personally feel that even without the money situation, that the Raiders felt slighted when Crosby put up that Instagram post of him playing ball. Oh yeah, by the way, before I forget, this is going to be like one of those pauses. I didn't give a shout out to some people. It just literally dawned on me in case they're watching. New subscribers. Awesome Nails in Peachtree City. Thank you so much for my nails today. I've redone them. Thank you to Sharjetta. She has her own podcast, Getting the Jump with her. I met her. She is a Milk Makeup. That's a product, guys. Milk Makeup ambassador. And she gave me some free products from birthday. And shout out to Sephora for the birthday bag. And to Massage Envy for the great massage. I literally almost forgot I had a show tonight, y'all. I was like that relaxed. So anyway, shout out to Donna over at Massage Envy. Lawson and I were all in Fayette and Peachtree today. He had an appointment. And so since he had to go on anesthesia and I couldn't pick him up for several hours and I didn't have class tonight or today, I took the advantage to prep for my midterms and take a mental health day. So, and I got, and the Flying Biscuit. Shout out to Maria. She heard me talking to my cousin. I was on FaceTime and she was saying, hey, this is your last week of your birthday, da, 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 da. And Maria comes over with a biscuit with birthday decor on it. So shout out to her as well. I literally had a whole day of pampering myself. So shout out to all those people. And thank you for subscribing on YouTube. All right, so the Falcons have officially placed the franchise tag on tight end Kyle Pitts. Woo! And the Jets are expected to do the same for the running back Breece Hall if the long-term deal is not secured by the next several days. Now, Sunday's March 1st, Sunday's the 2nd, Tuesday's the 3rd. So Tuesday the 3rd is the deadline for both of these guys. And speaking of the Falcons, it has been widely reported Kirk has been compensated and Kirk now is free to look elsewhere outside of the Bird Coop in Atlanta to play as quarterback, which means they're banking on Michael Penix Jr. returning to the starting role in the fall. So, Kirk O'Bangs, you got your coins? You did it up? I would not be surprised if he goes back to Minnesota. I mean, J.J. McCarthy just isn't it. Me, B, and James on the Friday Night with the Fellas show was just talking about the past Friday. And the more time that elapses, the more I'm convinced that is exactly what will happen. All right, so the offer on the table for Max Crosby is ludicrous. 2 first-round picks and a prime player. That ain't gonna happen. All right, we're gonna pin that because we want to make sure we remember that. Take a picture, do a clip. We want to make sure that we remember that if Max goes elsewhere. But that's literally like everybody and their mama who are not even Raiders fans are looking to see what happens with him. So we're gonna I just want Max to be happy. He seems like a solid dude. He definitely is very talented, and any team that gets him will be very blessed to have him. I mean, he can come to the Panthers if he wants to. I don't know. We got some good people down there, but I'm just saying. We try to go back to the playoffs next season. You heard it here first. All right, so Tua Tagovailoa. Y'all, these are all guys that came into the league around the time Bryce Young and CJ Stroud did. This was the make or break year for CJ. This is the make or break year for Bryce for sure. CJ went to the playoffs his first season in Houston, so it wasn't too much for him. But with Bryce Young, it was a make or break. So now let's round it back to Tua Tagovailoa, Miami Dolphins quarterback. The general manager, Sullivan, has spoken out and said everything is on the table. And that is a quote that he said, meaning there is a possibility of trades. I mean, if you're saying that everything is on the table, but let's be clear, owners always say, oh, we've got our guy, and the next thing you know, they are traded elsewhere. So really, it could go either way, but at least he's being honest about it. So I don't know. Where do you guys think Tua could possibly go? And if he's not the quarterback, are they drafting a quarterback? Like, what is Miami going to do? All right. On March 2nd, right before this trade deadline, the combine is going to conclude, which is Monday. The NFL free agency officially begins at 4 p.m. on March the 11th. So everybody's going to be trying to get these veteran players for the low ski before all the other stuff happens. I mean, this season is really busy, even when it's not game time. April 23rd through the 25th is your 2026 NFL draft in Pittsburgh. I'm excited about that. It's always great to see who picks who and when and all that good stuff. So let me just pull a little bit more stuff here. Now let's look at this. People that have like ACL injuries and things of that sort, like Bo Nix has. Do you guys think the Broncos are able to kind of bounce back from that before long? And let's talk about the Patriots. People have said they didn't have a real schedule. They played the NFC South and then their own division. And so they didn't have any true competition during the season. And that's why they said they folded. Like, I don't think they folded, but they folded. I mean, they played really good against the Broncos. You guys see the Pats and the Broncos back in the postseason? All right, let's look at the draft order, by the way. Las Vegas Raiders, since we talked about Max Crosby and all that stuff that people are offering for him, they are in the number one position right now. So I'm going to tell you like this, B. If people want to cough up that number one position for Max Crosby, let's see, because you said, let's put your comment back up there. You said the offer is 2 first-round picks, but they didn't say what round. They just said within the first round. That could be the last 2 picks of the first round. And a prime player. Who's the prime player? That's why it does sound ludicrous. That's why it does feel like it's not going to happen. Because who is your prime player? Seriously. I know you're not talking about Geno Smith. Who else? You guys got some thoughts on that. But Max Crosby, give me 1 second, guys. Sorry, guys. This weather down here in Georgia is 20 degrees one day and the next day is 75. And all of a sudden, at night, my sinuses are bad. Like when I tell y'all, I can't even breathe out my nose right now. It's progressively gotten worse since I started the show. But anyway. All right. So Paul said, I thought the Pats were going to go after Pitts. Yeah. Let's talk about that. Let me come back to that. My star player. My star player? All right. Kyle Pitts for the Jets thing. I'm going to have to look at that. So let's look at the draft order first. Of course, the Raiders are on the clock at number 1 as we sit at 3-14. The Jets are right behind them at 3-14. So are the Cardinals, the Titans. They all have 3-14. They're at the number 1 through 4 positions. At number 5 is the New York Giants, followed by the Cleveland Browns at the number 5 position. And number 7 is the Washington Commanders, the New Orleans Saints, and the Kansas City Chiefs, y'all, are in the top freaking 10. And rounding out the 10 spot is the Cincinnati Bengals. How odd is it to see the Kansas City Chiefs in the top 10 of the NFL draft. That is insane. Speaking of, I really want y'all's comments on this because this is another thing that is like of the hype. Is Travis Kelce coming back this season or not? I mean, Patrick Mahomes is injured. I don't even know. Let me just look up something real quick. Actually, we may have to hop. I do want to talk about that. I wanted to talk about this because I was going to say maybe we'll talk about it Friday, but since I'm already on that, let me at least close it out with this comment about the Chiefs. Travis Kelce is like the big news of whether or not he comes back. I mean, insiders are saying that the Chiefs want him back, but it's going to require working out some cap space. So even though the NFL gave everybody this extra money, some teams are still in a cap deficit. Like it just didn't even really help them. Rumors of a move to the Giants, y'all, this is what's crazy, have been dismissed. How do you even come up with this? As far-fetched. I didn't even hear that rumor, but they're saying at some point there was a rumor about Travis Kelce going to freaking New York. But if he does play, it will be with Mahomes. So you guys do know that Mahomes is regrouping. So his decision is expected as soon as the teams needs to know, basically all the way up to the free agency, March 11th. The Chiefs are talking about working on an explosive run game because we just didn't see it. We didn't see it at all. The rumor is Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame is probably going to be the Chiefs pick at number 9. The analysts have already said that Love is definitely going to go to Kansas City to replace some impending free agents like Isaiah Pacheco. Can y'all believe that? And Kareem Hunt. They're both going to be free agency. Chiefs were heavily rumored to be targeting Breece Hall out of New York, New Jersey. The New York Jets, y'all. You know they play in Jersey, though. But the Jets general manager confirmed yesterday that they will basically use the franchise tag to keep him in New York. Kansas City may now pivot to Travis Etienne Jr. That's going to be very interesting. Or even Kenneth Walker III if Seattle doesn't cough up that money. All right. So Paul said, I really like Young. Thank you so much. Yeah, he's really, really, really matured. I love Bryce. That's our quarterback. And McGrath says, so for the Lions, it would be Amon or Aiden. Yeah, Aiden Hutchinson, Amon-Ra St. Brown. For the Panthers, Ted or Score. No, Nick Scorton or T-Mac. Not Jalen Coker or Chuba Hubbard. Scorton. I mean, he's solid. Nick Scorton is solid. But I definitely get the tech analysis. All right, so that's the star players. I think Miami and Cards should trade for each other's quarterbacks. Wow. I never thought of that. I don't know, honestly, if CJ would have the same success in Miami that he's had under DeMeco Ryans. Him and DeMeco are just like A to B. It's literally like it's the natural progression of the alphabet. Like they're like glue. I don't see them without the cohesiveness of their unit being together. But I could be wrong. You know, this podcast is all about fun and just opinions and just taking the news that we do have and, you know, putting it into perspective of what we think that we may have. Let me take this moment real quick to go ahead and run my promo for my niece and refresh my beverage here so that I can be in a better position to talk when I come back. You guys hang around with me for 2 and 2. Have your phones out. This is the last week for Pearson's promo for her scholarship run. You guys just watch it here. Be right back.
The God above made you a masterpiece. The vision is clearer, nearer. My God to thee, learning to lean on his power. Your perspective can be sweet when circumstances are sour. I'm saying. I can see the vision clearer. Your identity is waiting. deem important versus essential. We put our heart and soul in every line behind instrumentals. Coincidental? I think not. God's plan from the very beginning. Create the type of music that make people think twice before sinning. Pleading, Holy Father, please forgive our trespasses. Confusing things we want for things we need in life, our must-haves. Selfish, inconsiderate, narcissistic people. Christ died for all the world, so there is power in Jesus. Issues happen, disagreements, dissensions, distortions. This fallen flesh, we still forget sometimes that God is our portion. Forcing, others won't cut it, nor manipulation. One thing that's very destructive is self-righteous behavior. Satan, he's crafty, throwing darts like Bailey's.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. That was Pearson. I appreciate y'all supporting her, and of course Chuck Price on the beat. And I have now used some nose spray and gotten a beverage. And shout out to Sunkiss Zero. Y'all wasn't supposed to see that, but that's my drink. And we are back for the second half of the show here. All right, so we're talking about players going other places and what have you, and what that looks like. And I'm gonna be honest, guys. None of us really know. This is all for, just poops and giggles or whatever. But Paul says Kelsey will be back. Like, calm it down, people. He's coming back. Taylor, is going to hold out a little bit because at the end of the day, they're going to have money. And he loves the game. But I'm going to be honest, Paul, I did not see the heart of Kelsey this season. And to be honest with y'all, ever since his brother Jason retired out of Philadelphia, I've just seen a different Kelsey. I have not seen the same vigor, the same passion. And those two guys have a podcast. It's almost like Jason's like, hey, little bro, I got out. Make sure you get out while you can so that you can enjoy life and enjoy your money, because this stuff doesn't get any easier. So we'll see. Y'all know I always say the verdict is out. By the way, the verdict is out is one of my favorite sayings that I come up with. Like, in other words, it will be determined. I am going to be starting a new podcast called The Legal Score. It will be featured on Saturday afternoons. I am still TBD with the time right now because of my school obligations, where I will be talking about things that are not necessarily sports affiliated, or maybe they are. A little bit of stuff like trials that are being publicized, a little bit of crime, a little bit of stuff like that, and just all the things that people have asked me over the years, why don't I talk about, basically. So I've got a lot of people that are like, hey, I watch your show. I don't know anything about football, but I watch it. I don't know about sports, but I watch it just because it's you and you're great. So why don't you talk about other stuff that I would be interested in? Like, hey, you're a law student. So let's talk about some things. Okay, let me be disclaimer, but I'm not a lawyer. So anything I would talk about would be entertainment purposes only, and that disclaimer would be on like all the stuff, so you guys would know. And I talk about other stuff, like just life stuff. It could be like Bible study. It could be about faith. It could be about encouragement, things in the community, things of note, things that people can weigh their own opinions in and not have to worry about being flagged or things like that. So we might talk about some of everything on that show. But it will probably spin off of some of the topics in the sports world, especially with the Antonio Brown situation, who is, of course, former NFL player. And we talk about it, but for the length of the duration of our show, we don't get a chance to really put emphasis on it because, we're trying to keep it sports oriented. And then we got a lot of shows on the McGrath Podcasting Network. That platform, in honor of our friend Mac McGrath, who has been almost a year now, coming up not too far from now, that we lost him, unfortunately, to cancer. Miss Linda so graciously allowed us to continue to be together as a unit. Mac had a dream of taking the network to higher heights, and we were blessed to have Brian Arndt, who I met on the One A Cheek Three Toes podcast, and just the talent that Brian has is unfathomable. It's literally like I'm just thinking I'm talking to another podcast host. This guy does the production. You guys watch the credits. Brian put all that together. Now, with the exception of Pearson's screenshots, he still put it together in a way with her song so it could be played as a promo. He is an amazing friend and he's an amazing colleague on the network. And so make sure you tune in to the McGrath Podcasting Network. We are growing by leaps and bounds. We've got several new shows coming up with the March to Spring, Spring into Newness. And it's 24/7. And we love you, B. You're amazing. I'm so blessed to continue to be here on your platform. All right. So here we go. Let's see. Paul says, North Houston or the Cards. Gotcha. Got you on that. All right. Now let's talk about some of these salary cap things. Now, a lot of teams restructured because I told you guys early on, even though there was a raise with the salary cap, it really wasn't a raise. It wasn't like, it's kind of like if you've already overdrawn your account, say $1,000, getting $20 in your account will help you bring it current, just those $20. It's not going to help you bring it current into the positive. So the salary cap works like that. For everyone who says they don't really understand how that works, they have to have the money to pay these players. But there are still a lot of teams that even the salary cap being raised, the cap is what it is. It caps, it limits the amount. But now that some of the players are still needing to be paid, the star players, contracts are being restructured so that all the players can get paid. We saw Tom Brady do it a lot in New England, so it's nothing new, but that's how the cookies crumble, as they say. The team recently restructured Patrick Mahomes' contract, converting much of it into a signing bonus to open up immediate cap space for them. Keep an eye out for offensive tackle Jawan Taylor. Insiders suggest that he could be a potential cap casualty to further clear the book. So they may be separating themselves from him. Now, Tyreek Hill reunion. This is the big thing that people have been talking about as well. Speculation ignited just yesterday after Hill, who is now a free agent, after being released by Miami. Y'all do remember that, right? That dude had a lot of stuff go down in Miami that was not good for him. The house fire, the leg in the boot, all of that stuff. He made comments on social media praising Arrowhead Stadium. Like, dude, we know you need a job. And so you're going to say and do whatever at this point to clear the air and try to get you a chance to come back to Arrowhead. So we're going to see how that pans out for him. While his knee injury that he's still dealing with, let's be clear, it's gone from the leg to the knee now, is a concern. A short-term deal or reunion could be some of the talk at the combine. So combine meetings, Lee Hunter, the defensive tackle out of Texas Tech, has publicly stated that his energy is exactly what the Chiefs defense needs, so he's marketing himself. I'm not mad about that. And then Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver out of ASU, with the receiver corps struggling last year, Tyson is being looked at as a high upside to target at the top of the draft. So if you look at all of that, the combine is going to be interesting. The draft's going to be interesting. And there you have it. So I'm going to go ahead and segue from the NFL now over to our NBA news. It's weird. Like, the combine is still taking up space, still taking up space in this. These glasses are so tight. Sorry, guys. Still taking up space in our stuff. Let's look at some current standings and power shifts in the NBA. 75th NBA All-Star Game in Los Angeles debuted a round robin and mid-tournament USA Stars, USA Stripes, and Team World that fans and players actually loved. The winners, USA Stars, took the title with 47-21 win over the veteran-heavy USA Stripes in the final. MVP, of course, Anthony Edwards claimed MVP awards. But let's look at tonight's games. Now, Kawhi Leonard has been not the most positive teammate as of late, saying things that he felt like it was over, their season was over, this, that, and the third. But let's look at where we are with the power struggle now. Major injury reports right now that affect tonight's games. These veteran players that have gotten these injuries is crazy. The Warriors and Grizzlies game, both teams were depleted. Having Steph Curry still out with that knee, and Jimmy Butler with that ACL that has been out the entire season, and John Morant elbow are all out, of course, for tonight's matchup. The Thunder and Pistons game is a potential finals preview. Those two teams, you may see them in the finals. We always see the Thunder. And congratulations if the Pistons are back there. I mean, wow. With Jason Tatum still rehabbing and rebounding, I should say, rebounding, not technically on the court, but rebounding his health. The Eastern Conference is up for grabs without Boston. They're up for grabs. So we could see Detroit come back. OKC, of course, is going to be there as always, but they're without SGA and Chet Holmgren and Alex Caruso. So they're starting three. But news, of course, Giannis Antetokounmpo is out tonight against Cleveland with a calf strain. March 1st is going to be your playoff eligibility date to keep a watch on. Those teams that are looking solid here on Sunday, bracket them up, keep an eye on them. They're going to be the ones that are your playoff contenders. April 12th, the regular season is ending. April 14th through the 17th are the playoff in tournament. You got to play to stay in. You know, unfortunately, my Hornets always make it to this. It's always the Hornets and Hawks, the two teams I love the most. And I do love the Warriors because of Steph Curry, but he's a non-factor this year. They're a non-factor. They haven't been the same since the Jordan Poole trade, all this stuff. I can't even talk about the Warriors, but I digress. But anyway, April 14th through the 17th play-in tournament will be there. Those teams that are play in to stay in and win. And then April 18th, right around the corner, the NBA playoffs are going to be beginning. Let me make sure I don't have any more news for you guys tonight before I hop off of here. Oh, I do have a little bit more news for you guys. My apologies. The Detroit Pistons, they are 42-14 right now. They're the story of the league, led by Cade Cunningham. I'm clapping. You guys can't see the clap. 25.3 points per game is his average right now. And he's a first-time All-Star Jalen Duren. They hold a 4.5 game lead over the Celtics. Western Conference, the Oklahoma City Thunder are 45-14, and they remain the gold standard. They are remaining the team to defeat. Like, you know, they say you got to bring the Thunder. Let's see. They are currently battling a wave of injuries as well. I mean, this is just what it is, especially with SGA and Chet Holmgren. And the San Antonio Spurs, who are 41-16 right now, are right on their necks for second place. Hang on one second. All right, so the trade deadline for them that had already passed was February 5th of this month, and it was one of the wildest in history, basically shifting all the all-stars to unconventional contenders. So, like, you guys know, they were moving around a lot of the star players, and that's what happens. When you move around so many players that you're banking on those players for your wins, and then you don't get them, it's just like, whoa, hold on, what happened? Washington's all in despite a poor record. The Wizards landed Trae Young. I still can't get over him not being with the Hawks, guys. And Anthony Davis in separate blockbuster trades. That's still like the cliffhanger of the entire season. And then the Celtics got their depth chart. They forfeited their front court for another title run by acquiring Nikola Vucevic from the Bulls. And then CP3 to the north, Chris Paul. He was traded to the Toronto Raptors while the Bulls took a flyer on Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley. Now, if you guys have not been keeping up, like, all you had to do during that segment was blink. And before you know it, those guys were traded and you had zero idea that it was happening. But anyway, that's your NBA news. That's your NFL news. I don't have too much else out there anymore for tonight. I appreciate everybody joining me for the Likes Love. This show will re-air at 2 a.m. Join me on Friday at 9 p.m. for Friday with the Fellas. And stay tuned to this network. We run shows 24/7. And with that, I'm going to bid everybody a good night. Thank you guys for the love. See you Friday.